Alright everybody, this is Eternal Blade here and welcome back to the cruise cabin tutorial. So, last time we were modeling this portion here, so I wanted to make a few corrections here. I realized that this piece right here was just too thick, so we're gonna sort of, let's see how much we can dial this back. We're going to just dial it back kind of like that. Alright, now grab the grab the piece here and just drag this back as well. Okay, and for this outer portion here, we need to make a few corrections as well. Let's just go in here and we need to scale these in a bit, just like that. Okay, you don't have to worry about it too much, but let's see what happened here. We need shaded. Alright, and the reason I'm doing that is because it was just cutting into the actual model itself, so I needed to fix it a bit. Alright, so go into our camera here and let's go just realistic. Or sorry, not realistic, just shaded. There we go. And that should do for us. Perfect. We're also going to have to scale that down, but before we do that, let's add just a box sort of up here-ish. Okay, and give it a bit of a thickness there. Alright, go into our perspective here. Let's just take a look at this box. This is going to be the sort of crown molding here on this portion. So let's grab this edge here and just drag it in. It seems that it kind of angles out just a bit, and it's actually quite small, so quite thin in the bottom. So we're just gonna try to match it up as best we can. Alright, there we go. And let's grab this bottom edge here and chamfer it. We're going to actually do 4 chamfers just to give it kind of a rounded edge there. And then we're going to, let's see, grab the top piece of that, and we're just going to extrude it out just a little bit. Okay. And then press 2, and let's grab that top piece and simply drag it out a little bit. Not much. Right, let's take a look at the side view here so you can see what I'm doing. So just kind of, I guess actually it needs to go in a little bit, like that. Alright. And then let's grab, which edge do we want? This edge here. Chamfer. And we don't need nearly that many chamfers. But is that the edge we want? Yes, it is. Okay, so 1 chamfer. Oops, sorry, 1 chamfer. Let's bring the distance up just a little bit. And that ought to do. Okay. So now, if we have the camera in that view, let's just drag this kind of over here. There we go. And we'll drag this edge over here. Perfect. Alright, that actually looks pretty damn good. Now let's grab this and we're going to shift drag it. Okay, press E. Make sure we have angle snap on by pressing A. And rotate that 90 degrees, and let's just put that right against this wall here. Okay, perfect. Oops, entirely not that wall. It's disappeared, this wall here. My apologies there. Alright, that looks good. And we can grab this floating thing by pushing 1 to go into vertex mode, and we'll just sort of put it over there, and grab this, and we can just drag it back. Okay, now, once I have that, I can realize that our top piece here is probably a bit too thick. So we're just gonna shrink it a bit. Press W and reposition it, okay? Now we'll also have to reposition these, so just sort of in the front viewport if you want. Drag them up here. Okay. And grab this, do the same. Okay. And grab the next one. And again, this is a kind of an iterative process where you just sort of, as you model, you adjust the scene. I mean, I did an initial block out, but you know, that doesn't catch everything. You're gonna have things that aren't quite right that you got to deal with throughout the model, and that's just, you know, how it works. There's nothing wrong with that. Okay, so there we go. Going back into our camera view, you can see we sort of have a nice little edge here. Alright, that looks pretty good. I think maybe debating if this needs to be a bit thicker or not. Don't really think it does. I think it's probably fine, because it should match up about here, but well, we can make it a bit thicker and then bring it down just a bit. Yeah, there we go, that'll have to do. Now for this, let's grab all the portions of that, so we have the entire thing there. Press R, and we're just gonna scale the whole thing down just a bit. Okay. Come to our camera view here, and let's keep scaling. Okay, Shift F to see our safe frames. Let's press R, and let's scale it outward a bit. I'm guessing this thing is centered over the bed, but it should be kind of halfway. That's probably about good. Alright, perfect. There we go. We can make these gray. Excellent. I wonder, is that? Just trying to make sure that we don't have any gaps. Don't believe we do. Okay, good. So next, I think what I'm going to do is work on the pillows. So let's just grab sort of these things, and we'll isolate selection, just so we have this. All right. Get rid of the grid by pressing G. Now we're going to do just one portion here. So let's grab like this pillow, for instance, and convert. Shift drag it, okay, and convert it to an editable poly. And let's just sort of bring it up over here. Alright, and let's just try and flatten it out. Okay, that's good. Alright, now what we need to do is just sort of bring it here in the middle and press R and just scale it out just so it sort of reaches the whole bed there. Okay, and then that's probably fine. Okay, so now we have this kind of long, skinny thing here. Alright, now what we need to do is, let's see how we want to do this. I think we need to turn it sort of like that. So now it's sticking straight up. Alright. Now let's go into our, let's see, make a rectangle, and we can sort of make it fairly long, kind of like this. Alright, then we want it to be probably twice as long, right about there should be good. And let's bring that up here. Now because we're going to do cloth, make sure you just save this. Don't even risk it. Okay, so let's go to Garment Maker. Alright, and let's see, we'll probably give it maybe a 0.2, should be good. That's be quite a bit of geometry there. Go to Cloth, add a Cloth modifier, and go to Object Properties. Let's actually figure out what this is. We'll call this Pillow Collision. Okay, so Object Properties, add objects, we're going to add Pillow Collision in. So for the rectangle, we're going to just do cotton is fine, and for the pillow collision, we're going to do a collision object. Okay, so cloth, collision object, okay. I'll go back in there and double check because sometimes it doesn't work, but we're good. And now let's simulate local. Okay, so here we go. We should have some collision. We do, nice. Excellent. We'll just let that sort of fall, and boom. Okay, so we're good. Now what we need to do is, let's see here. Simulate local again. Let's see if we can drag this and move it while we're, yeah, we can, good. What do we do this? What is it going to do? It's not going to be happy. Okay, so we're going to erase that. So now what we've got is basically this. So let's grab all of this, E, and rotate, I guess kind of like this. Okay, so the pillars are sort of up. Is that what we want? I think that's what we want. Now let's simulate local again. It doesn't like that. Alright, so we're just going to stop simulating and go back to what we had. And let's try to simulate in the position it's going to be. And what we can do is clone that object and let's add an auto key. We're going to start it here and then like 40 seconds, so very slowly, actually 60 seconds. We'll sort of bring it to here. This should curve that underneath, so we have this. Okay, so go back here, Object Properties, and we're going to add a pillow, what are we adding here? What is this? Pillow Collision 01. So Object Properties, add objects, Pillow Collision 01, and make that a collision object as well. Okay, now let's simulate local. Actually, no, we don't want to do simulate local. We want to do, well, yes, we want to simulate local first. Okay, so that should fall nicely. Okay, now let's do simulate. So now this pillow will start moving in. I didn't think about that. Okay, let's cancel this. Control Z. Alright, so clearly we cannot have too much floating off. Let's try this. Simulate local. Okay. Actually, that'll probably be about fine anyway. Alright, now what we need to do, actually we should probably be doing this on the bed itself. How do we want to go about this? Let's, alright, now that we've got that, let's just bring a fake bed up here. Alright, and let's actually erase simulation. And let's add, what do we want to add? We want to, grab this, and we'll call this bed. Okay. So object properties, add objects, pillow collision 1 and bed, both of which will be collision objects. Okay. So now, if we simulate, let's just see what we get. Hoping that pillow moves slow enough. Okay, good, good. Okay, not so good. We didn't get the pillow in there. Odd. Object properties. Pillow. Interesting. Why are these not collision objects? Okay, and we will bring that to like 80, and we will simulate again. So here we go. We are simulating. And let's see if it hits the bed and does some good stuff. We should be lucky. There we go. I think we're good. Okay, we have some nice drapage. And we will just... this pillow will hopefully sort of suck it in a little bit. Oh yes, we are successful. Okay, let's stop the simulation. There we go. So now we've got this sort of cloth going on. So what we can do is grab that, shift drag, and we'll not shift drag, we'll just convert to an editable poly. Okay, so now we've got this sort of cloth that's an editable poly. Hopefully it doesn't move. Good. So let's delete this extra pillow here, and we'll delete that, and that. So now we have this, which we can drag down. Okay. And let's see, this will be the front view. So this sort of needs to go over here. So if you see in perspective, now we sort of have somewhat nice bed. Now, I'm not really worried about the sides there. It's not a big issue to me. Alright, so we do have a nicely wrapped bed. Now what we want to do is just do a shell. Okay, and we'll just give it an outer amount, just to sort of bulk it up a bit. Give it a noise. And we'll sort of give it, this will just give it some wrinkles. Okay. And we'll bring the scale, we'll bring the scale down just a bit. Alright, and then we can apply a Turbosmooth. Maybe 2. Alright, that's a lot of geometry, but I think it will work. And maybe just 1 there. Excellent. Alright, let's do a FFD. And then we can use this to sort of, grab the control points. And this can be used to just sort of bring out the bits that are sort of hanging off. And if you have some weird stuff here, you can try to sort it out. Not a big deal, honestly. But you do want to make sure it's sort of is actually on the bed or very close to the bed. Okay, and over here, what do we got? No, nothing too bad. Nothing major anyway. Alright, perfect. And there we go. Make that gray. And that should be good for that part. So if we go into our camera here, actually end isolation mode, see now we have sort of a nice pillow there, and it'll look a lot better once it's textured. So I guess while we're here, let's actually grab, what do I want to grab? Let's grab these and isolate selection, and let's simply drag these up. Basically what we want to do here is convert this to an editable poly, and let's grab all the edges here and chamfer these with pretty good sized chamfers. Okay, we'll grab the top and the bottom, and we'll control click the edges here and chamfer. So basically, if you can see what we're doing, we're sort of making a mattress shape. Perfect. There we go. So now we sort of a mattress. And now what we'll do is we'll sort of repeat the process here. So let's just add something probably about this big. Should work. Okay, garment maker. We can give this 0.3 maybe. Is that too much? I really hope I didn't just crash that. We'll see. Definitely too much, so we're going to save just in case, and we'll give it maybe 0.2. That still seems like a lot. 0.1. 0.1 seems a lot better. Okay. Apply a cloth modifier. All right, go here, and we'll just call this bed. Okay. Get your cloth modifier, object properties, add objects, bed. Oops. Okay. Make that a collision object, and we'll make this a cloth object, which we can use cotton, and press OK. Go back in here one more time to make sure it's stuck. It did not. And cotton, OK. And we'll just do a simulate local here. So it should fall, should wrap nicely, and we'll let it just dangle there. Okay, we have some tearage, not so good. So object properties, and we'll give it maybe some generic heavy. All right, and collision object, we'll give it an offset of 2. Okay, and we'll try lowering this down a little bit, just so it doesn't have so much velocity, and we'll simulate local. Yeah, didn't like that any, but okay, that's fine. Okay, not so good. Let's see, erase simulation. Come on, undo what I just did. There we go. Let's delete object cache here, and reset state, and then set initial state, so we're sort of here. Now we'll try this again. We'll just do offset of maybe 1. Okay, let's look in here for a second, and alright, let's try simulating local again. Now I should have a lot less velocity here. Still wants to go through. Why is it going through? Don't understand. Object properties. Let's see here. Bring a stretch up to 250. Repulsion maybe to 3. Thickness to 2. Okay. And let's try again. Okay, clearly this does not want to work very well. I wonder if it has something to do with the geometry of this. So we'll actually delete this cloth modifier here. Go to Turbosmooth, and we'll just give it some additional geometry and see if that has any effect whatsoever. As of right now, I'm sort of stumped. Alright, let's try simulating local again. Oops, sorry, we didn't. I don't know why it does this to where it doesn't actually affect the collision objects. Very strange. Ah, so we're getting somewhere. Alright, let it sort of float for a bit. And boom, we're done. Okay, so now let's save that again. Okay, we'll convert that to an editable poly here. Add a shell. We'll give it a pretty good sized outer mount. Oh, not that's good. Alright, now let's add an FFD. 4x4 should be good, and let's just grab these top control points here and see why it doesn't want to come up. Alright, let's just grab all of these here and delete the bottom ones and try to slowly coax it to come up. Delete the top ones. Aha, we're getting somewhere. Okay, let's click, we'll say, control point in here somewhere. Oh, we have a lock on. Let's see, maybe this one over here. Bring it up. Maybe bring this one up. Okay. Let's bring that up a bit. Grab one of these in here and bring it up. Okay, let's grab these two and bring them, well, we can't really bring them down much at all. Okay, we will grab, let's see, something sort of in here-ish. And drag that up. Okay, and finally let's grab one of these and see if we can't affect that side. Perfect. There we go. So that's not so bad. Let's apply a I kind of want to say a displace, but it's not what I want to do. We shouldn't have to do too much with this. Yeah, we'll just go with a Turbosmooth and see how it does. Alright, so Turbosmooth, and actually, you know what? Let's delete that. Delete the FFD. So we have a shell here. Let's apply cloth modifier to it. Object properties. Make this cloth. And then we're going to do, let's see, there should be something here where you can let's make this generic heavy, and we'll give it inside pressure. We'll give it a pressure of like 5. Okay, and then we'll just simulate local real quick. Nope. Let's try object properties, pressure of like 50. Okay, well, we're getting somewhere. I'm trying to get it to where it sort of balloons out, because look at, I mean, right now, that is not good. You know, I think we're just going to sort of undo everything we just did, if it'll let us. No, okay, we're just going to delete that. I was not a fan of it. It's just the simulation wasn't doing what I wanted. So we'll try again here. Okay, bring it down. Okay. Garment maker. We'll just give it 0.1 like we did before. Go to cloth. Object properties. We're going to add the bed. Okay, make that a collision object. And make this cloth. And we'll just do some generic heavy material. Okay, go back in here to make sure. And of course, it didn't work. Okay, and let's simulate local again. Oh, much better this time. You can see all the polygons on top, which is kind of what I wanted the first time around. Okay, good. Let's add an edit poly. Not an edit mesh, edit poly. Okay, let's add a shell. Okay, give it a bit of a shell here. Alright, add Turbosmooth. And that, my friends, looks pretty good. Bring it up just a bit. Alright, now let's grab all of our pillows and such and just bring them down. Yes. Yes. Good deal. Alright. Let's make this gray. And we will end isolation mode here. Save our work. Okay, go into our camera. And there we go. Now we've got some nice bed. Now what we can do here is noise, and we can, let's see, affect the Z a bit. Bring the scale down a tad. Okay. Just to give it some of those like little waves in it. Alright, so I'm going to call that part a wrap. So we got the whole bed modeled. And I will see you guys next time. Happy modeling and have a great evening.